In this video, we reveal the forgotten energetic purpose behind your birth window, explore the shift from analog to digital consciousness, and decode the mystical patterns that connect your name, your time of birth, and your deeper calling. If you were born between 1980 and 1999, this message is for you. Watch until the end. Your soul might recognize what your mind has forgotten. There's something hidden in your timeline, a secret encoded into the years you were born, between 1980 and 1999, a cosmic imprint that most have forgotten, but monks, mystics, and sages have guarded for centuries. And it has nothing to do with meditation. If you feel something stirring, like the video and subscribe to the Invisible Mystic, because this is not just a video, it's your awakening. You weren't just born in a random decade. If you came into this world between 1980 and 1999, you carry something ancient, a spiritual signature that modern life has tried to bury, but never could. You are part of a bridge generation, between the analog and the digital, between the sacred and the distracted, between deep intuition and overwhelming noise. You've probably felt it for years, that pull towards something more, a sense that you were meant for something you can't quite name. And you're not alone. The generation of sensitives. Some say souls born during this time were seated here, not to fit in, but to wake up, and to awaken others. If you were told you were too emotional, if you struggled with anxiety, sensitivity, or spiritual confusion, it's not a flaw, it's a frequency. You came wired for truth, but were dropped into a world of distortion, a world that numbed, distracted, and disconnected. Yet the calling remained. It whispered through insomnia, through burnout, through the ache that something was missing, because something is. Why meditation wasn't enough. You've probably tried the usual tools: meditation, journaling, affirmations, and maybe they helped a little, but not completely. That's because you don't need a bandage. You need an activation. You were born in an era of massive energetic transition. Your soul didn't come to repeat rituals. It came to remember resonance. And the secret you were never told is that there's another path, one hidden beneath sound, breath, vibration, a technique the monks called the silent ignition, not seated stillness, but spiritual electricity. The secret wasn't lost. It was hidden. Certain knowledge wasn't erased. It was protected, reserved for a time when the world would finally be ready, and when the right souls would return. That time is now, and those souls are waking up. This is why you found this video, why your eyes are still on these words, because something ancient in you just heard its name whispered, and now it's listening. The shift doesn't happen through discipline. It begins with remembrance. Soon, we'll reveal the true energetic conditions of the Earth between 1980 and 1999, and what role your soul agreed to play in that transformation. When you were born, the world was not silent. It was shifting, radically, invisibly, powerfully. Technology was accelerating. Belief systems were crumbling. Old paradigms were dying, but new ones hadn't yet arrived. You were born into a spiritual in-between. The forgotten frequency of the 80s and 90s. These weren't just decades of music, fashion, or politics. They were energetic thresholds. Between 1980 and 1999, the Earth's vibrational field began to destabilize. Solar activity intensified. Collective consciousness began to crack open. And new waves of souls, highly sensitive, ancient, electric, began to incarnate. You weren't here to enjoy the comfort of stability. You were here to feel the friction of transformation, to walk through the collapse of the old world, and carry seeds for the new. Why this generation feels so much? Because you were never meant to stay asleep. The children of this era, they feel more, dream more, hurt more. You've probably struggled with a feeling misunderstood in your family or culture, experiencing phantom memories of other lifetimes, a rejecting systems that seem normal to everyone else, a carrying a deep need for silence and depth. This isn't dysfunction. It's calibration. You were born on a higher frequency, into a world that wasn't built to hold it. You were born with a mission, but not a manual. No one taught you how to use your sensitivity. They told you to suppress it, to toughen up, to be realistic. Be normal. But your nervous system was never wired for normal. It was built for awakening, to hear the whispers in chaos, to feel the tremors beneath illusions. And now that the world is cracking open, your original blueprint is activating. You're not broken. You're remembering. The world you were born into was loud, unstable, uncertain. But that wasn't an accident. It was a calling. Soon, we'll explore the actual secret that has been hidden from mainstream spiritual paths, and why for your generation, it might be the only way forward. You've been told to meditate, to sit still, to breathe, to quiet your mind. But for you, and many like you, it hasn't been enough. You've done the rituals, lit the candles, said the mantras, and still felt incomplete. That's because your soul didn't come here to only silence itself. It came to activate the ancient path of inner fire. In sacred traditions that were never written in books, there was a practice too powerful for the masses, one that could awaken dormant consciousness, but only in the right hands. It wasn't called meditation. It was called ignition. A way to awaken the fire within, not by emptying the mind, but by charging the body with presence, vibration, and sound. And here's the truth. Your generation was born with this fire already inside. That's why the old tools don't fully work. You don't need to find the spark. You need to remember how to fan it. How the practice was hidden. Why haven't you heard of this before? Because the world wasn't ready. Because truth can't be sold in apps or routines. Because real transformation doesn't look like peace. It looks like fire. This hidden path was preserved in a forgotten lineages of sound healers, a monks who used voice and movement, not stillness, a shamans who awakened consciousness through rhythm, a ancient mystics who encoded it into names, numbers, and vibration. They waited for the right generation, for the right time. And that time is now. It's not about belief. It's about resonance. This isn't about what you believe. It's about what your body remembers. Have you ever heard a sound that made your entire spine vibrate? Spoken your full name and felt it echo inside your chest? Experienced goosebumps when nothing logical was happening? Those were keys, little sparks of the original ignition. You were never meant to just sit and quiet your mind. You were meant to vibrate your soul awake. And the truth is, you already know how. What awakening feels like. Don't expect fireworks. Expect alignment. When this inner ignition happens, you might feel a strange calm that isn't numbness, it's knowing. A surge of clarity without needing answers. The release of emotions that aren't even yours. A quiet power that makes noise irrelevant. It's not about becoming something new. It's about returning to the version of you that always existed beneath the noise. Your soul came here not just to seek truth, but to activate it. Now we'll explore the ancient activation ritual known only to a few, involving your own name, your breath, and a forgotten frequency that lives inside you. You've searched for answers in books, in teachers, in silence, but maybe the answer isn't outside you. Maybe the answer is in your name, not the label others gave you, but the vibration your soul responded to. Because names, real names, are not just spoken, they're felt, and yours has been waiting to be activated. Your name was not random. If you were born between 1980 and 1999, there's a strong chance your name wasn't chosen, it was remembered. Maybe your parents say, "It just came to us," or "We knew before we saw you," or "It sounded right." But what if it wasn't a coincidence? What if the sound of your name was encoded with the very frequency your soul needed to navigate this lifetime? In ancient traditions, names were not given lightly. They were chosen through ritual, sound, and alignment. Each syllable carried a tone. Each tone matched a purpose. A name wasn't just identity. It was direction. The salt water ritual, one of the most sacred and hidden rituals practiced by monks and spiritual guides, was a name cleansing and reactivation ceremony using water, salt, and voice. It was simple, but it was never meant for everyone. It was meant for those ready to reclaim their true resonance. Here's what it involved. 1. A bowl of clean water, symbolizing memory. 2. Natural salt, symbolizing purification. 3. The voice, symbolizing vibration. The guide would speak the full name into the salt water, not as a command, but as a remembrance. Then they would hold silence and wait. Sometimes the water shimmered. Sometimes it stayed still. But always, something shifted. Because when your name is spoken with intention, it wakes up. Why it matters now. You've carried your name like a suitcase, but maybe you've never opened it. Have you felt disconnected from it? Or deeply attached, even without knowing why? Maybe you've changed it, shortened it, avoided it, or maybe you've whispered it when no one was around. That's not ego. That's instinct. Because names are spells. And your name, the real one spoken with full breath, can awaken a frequency that no mantra ever could. You are the frequency. This isn't just about what you're called. It's about what you carry. Your name, when spoken with breath and awareness, can clear stagnant energetic fields, realign your vibration, open spiritual memories, restructure your personal field of influence, but only if it's done with truth, and only if you're ready. Because once it's awakened, you can't go back to being asleep. Speak your name. Speak it slowly. Not with doubt, but with reverence. It's not just sound. It's memory. It's power. It's you. Now we'll explore how this generation, yours, is collectively awakening, and how to move from pain and confusion into purpose and alignment. You were told you were too quiet, too intense, too emotional, too sensitive. But maybe you were simply ahead of your time. Maybe your frequency was never meant to fit, because it came to shift. And now it's beginning. You were never meant to do this alone. What you've felt all your life, others have felt too. You just didn't know they existed, because the world taught you to be silent about your inner knowing, to dismiss your visions, to distrust your intuition, to mask your depth. But now, people like you are waking up all over the planet, some through breakdown, some through dreams, some through synchronicities too specific to be ignored. It's no longer isolated. It's activation. Why this generation is key. Born between 1980 and 1999, you are not just a generation. You are a spiritual bridge. You were raised on systems that are now crumbling. You witnessed the birth of the internet, but remember a time before it. You understand stillness, but have been shaped by speed. You crave depth, but live in a world of distraction. This contrast wasn't a mistake. It was a training ground. You were prepared to walk between worlds and teach others how to do the same. The signs of awakening. You may already feel it. Have you noticed? Or a deep need to purge old beliefs? Or an urge to disconnect from chaos and return to truth? A strange dreams, flashes of memory, or a pull toward ancient practices? Or a desire to simplify, to quiet, to align? These are not breakdowns. They are breakthroughs. You are not unraveling. You are being rewoven. Thread by thread. Light by light. Truth by truth. Your role is not what you were told. You were told your job was to succeed, to follow rules, to stay safe. But your soul didn't come here to play small. It came to transcend cycles, remember ancient truths, rebuild reality from the inside out. You are not here to impress. You are here to illuminate. The return to purpose. You don't need a guru. You don't need permission. What you need is remembrance. Remember who you were before they told you who to be. Remember what made your heart burn before it was numbed. Remember the reason you kept searching, even when nothing made sense. That is your compass. That is your power. That is your awakening. You were born between two worlds, but you belong to something beyond both. You are not too late. You are not too early. You are right on time. If this message stirred something in your chest, leave in the comments and share your birth year. Not for validation, but to mark your resonance. Like this video and subscribe to The Invisible Mystic. The next chapter of your awakening begins with one decision: to remember who you've always been.